hit a pothole.
And the front tire of the trailer is flat. But we have a spare in the back, so we're really close. We're just gonna have to go slow, and then we'll change it at the field. Always something.
In season, it's just like your whole day, every day. Unless you have people working for you, but we don't. So we pretty much do it all ourselves. It's a lot of work, but it's pretty rewarding.
I work most days in the barn from like 7 until 6 or I don't know. It's like an all day, every day type of situation. I get a lot of joy out of being in the barn and get everything ready myself. Just wiping the tack down before I start to get the horses ready, make sure everything's clean. And if it gets sweaty and then it dries, the leather gets really hard and starts to crack. So this just like preserves it, and also when the leather's softer, it's like just nicer to hold and it doesn't give you like blisters on your hands as badly. Lucy, stop! This is her trailer, she gets around. She makes sure everything at the trailer is the way it should be.
I think there has to be a relationship between the two. I think the polo horse is probably 80% of that relationship, and they're the ones that are racing to the ball. They're the ones making the ride-offs. The players are making decisions for those horses as far as where to go to be able to pick the ball up, and the players themselves are hitting the ball. So they need athletic ability and timing and so forth to be able to do that. But you can be a top player in the world, but if you don't have a horse to support you, you're not going to be able to get there to make the plays necessary to win a match.
Now I'm a little hot.
You can play really hard against someone and then everyone understands what you're going through and how stressful it can be, so it's really nice to relax with everyone after the game. That's probably one of my favorite things about polo is places you go and the people you meet, and everyone is so welcoming and has so much hospitality towards you. It's really great. Lucy's a good barn dog. She loves to come to the barn and hang out, and she started taking on this like protective role of the horses, and whenever I go to ride, she'll stay at the trailer and watch them, and she barks if someone breaks away or is loose, and tries to herd them back, and like 50% of the time she herds them in the right direction, but she thinks she's helping the whole time.
lakini anajua kusema. Na yeye anajua kuweka na kupanga.
In Kisumu County, farmers have discovered a sustainable and affordable solution to rising livestock feed costs. Over 50 farmers recently completed an intensive training on black soldier fly farming, an innovative approach to tackling high production costs and promoting eco-friendly agriculture. The black soldier fly, or BSF, is a small insect whose larvae are protein-rich and ideal for livestock feed. These larvae thrive on organic waste, turning it into nutrient-rich feed and produce frass, a natural organic fertilizer that restores soil health and boosts productivity.
We hope of contributing to meeting, if not 50%, to about 70% of the feed supply to the livestock. That is one aspect of it. We hope that with increased production of larvae to feeding livestock, including piggery and poultry and fish farming, we hope to contribute significantly in protein supply to the population. And this will also help to contribute in addressing the malnutrition gap.
Initially misunderstood, BSF is now being embraced by farmers like Phoebe Athiambo, who overcame their initial fears to recognize its benefits.
The black soldier flies were scaring me. In fact, I was afraid of the larvae. I couldn't even touch them. But nowadays, I have found it is beneficial. I could touch them. I'm giving my chicken the feeds. I'm so happy with the larvae because they are friendly. I can touch them. I can even give my chicken. The chicken are eating it. It's nutritive, I say, because you can see they are eating it at a high speed. But now I'm controlling. After the training, now I've known how to measure the scale, the ratios I'm supposed to give them. Because when I give excess, I hear that they'll be so fat that they couldn't even lay eggs again.
BSF farming is particularly appealing to youth and women due to its minimal space and budget requirements.
It takes me not to use maybe the very many things, maybe like to go and hire the land somewhere, but I can use the local land which my father owned at home. So it has inspired me, like it can help me maybe to have little funds so that I can continue with other activities.
So BSF can be done by everyone, and then it's cutting costs by 50 to 60%. So if your cost of production is cut by 50 to 60%, then you're in business. You're good to go.
The benefits of BSF extend beyond livestock. Frass enhances soil quality, improves water retention, and fosters resilient crops.
You know, in Africa, we've got a big issue with waste management. That's a very big issue we're having in Africa. But this small larvae called BSF is revolutionizing all these things and is bringing a change. And right now, I can tell you for a fact, we are having an issue of getting waste. Somehow we are trying to create the waste itself. So environmental wise, it's a key, it's something, it's a plus. You can say it's an A+ and doing very well. I said again on the green economy, doing very good because of the frass changing. We have overused our lands. We have farmed from I don't know how many years ago, but BSF is coming in with a solution.
And this is virtually what we aim at doing that. So with the use of the black soldier fly black byproduct, including the liquid, which will be used in biopesticides production, we are aiming at one, reducing pesticides contamination, which comes from a result of high pesticides use. We are also helping to reduce water pollution, which comes from the use of excessive and irregular use of fertilizer materials. We are also hoping of helping to improve the organic matter content of the soil, which fertilizer, one way or the other, is not able to do significantly.
This transformative initiative is part of the CGAIR Nature Positive Solutions, aiming to make agriculture a positive contributor to nature. As more farmers in Kenya adapt BSF farming, the future of sustainable agriculture shines brighter. For KTN Farmers TV, I'm Paul Thiongo. As the world grapples with the effects of climate change, crop farming in the country is one of the most affected sectors that has in turn induced food insecurity. To add salt to injury, the seed industry has been penetrated by unscrupulous people packaging and selling fake seeds, as well as inadequacy of certified seed for most crops, and where available, prices are exorbitant, keeping them out of reach to smallholder farmers. It is in this light that the research organization developed the Calro seed arm.
Even if we give out all the fertilizers and we apply all the good management practices, without the right seed, production will still be very low. So to contribute to the food and nutrition security in the country, we have taken the initiative to ensure that we open mkulima shops across the country so that our farmers can be able to access quality planting material. Mkulima shop is a new concept whereby Calro's technologies that have been developed, whether they are seeds or seedlings or any other product, are sold to farmers. As you are aware, the biggest challenge that our farmers are facing is access to good quality certified planting material.
Calro envisages to have 17 mkulima shops spread out in various parts of the country. These include Amri Katumani, HRI Kandara, ICRI Mtwapa, Calro Seeds Thika, HRC Kibos, Matuga, and Tigoni.
Last year, the drought has havoc because we are able to sell only about 1,000 metric tons. But this year we are targeting 2,500 metric tons, and going forward, because we have plans to expand our production systems, we have plans to irrigate so that we don't rely on rainfall. So we expect that in the next 2-3 years, we'll be hitting something close to maybe 4,000 metric tons.
Hapo miaka iliyopita, watu wengi wa mahindi walikuwa wanachukua mahindi ile ambao wametoa kwa ngara, ambao wanarudisha kwa shamba tena. Lakini wakati huu watu wa mahindi wanajua tukitaka mbegu tunaenda kwa soko, tunaenda pale kwa duka na tunanunua what is certified seed na tunapanda hiyo. That's why kwa mahindi tuko kama tuseme 90% certified seeds. Lakini kwa vitu zingine kama maharage tuko pale kama 5%.
Establishment of these shops will also provide farmers with opportunities for contractual seed production, leading to income, and also help promote the various varieties being grown.
This is an assurance that you are getting it from the people who actually build the technologies, who evolve the technologies, and you are there. This is not GMO, it is technology that is actually developed from our own country by our own researchers. So I want to encourage anybody who is actually passing through this road to Kandara, next to Thika Green, to actually drop by this shop and make sure that you procure.
It is something that has been researched on, done the adaptability trials, so we are able to advise a farmer, if you go and plant this in this area, it's able to grow, and this is the yield, and this is the market. So we have the technology, and also we are able to advise a farmer how to go about it, how to grow, and even how to market.
Farmers will be provided the opportunity to confirm the authenticity of the seeds they will be buying in these shops.
What I want to assure you is that the seed you buy from Calro is counterfeit proof, because there's a number which when you scratch, when you buy from Calro, if you scratch and send to that number, it will tell you that this is original seed certified by KEFIS. If that number is not there, then you know that's counterfeit.
The Calro Seed Unit maintains all pre-released and released seed varieties in bred lines, as well as producing breeder, pre-basic and basic seeds. The foremost seed sector purchases breeder seeds, and the informal sector purchases basic seed for further multiplication. Seed companies using breeders or basic seed purchased from the Calro Seed Unit produce certified seed, stalks and seedlings. Reporting for KTN News, I'm Paul Thiongo.
Dial *811*914# to get this as your skiza tune. KTN, ndio home.
The changing climate and extreme weather events have greatly affected many farmers across the country.
This program started some years back, and we are happy as a government, as a ministry, that the farmers have embraced irrigation activity in this part of Tharaka Nithi. As you are aware, Tharaka Nithi is one of the, you can categorize it as a semi-arid to some extent, because rainfall is not throughout the year.
The effects of drought experienced earlier this year are being felt now in July, as many farmers have hoped to plant their crops on the onset of the rainy season, but the rains, however, failed them. Increased heat spells coupled with flash floods made farming close to impossible and unprofitable, as many smallholder farmers rely on rain-fed agriculture. This has led to calls by various county governments for farmers to prioritize and invest in irrigation to ensure food security. Experts insist that irrigation development can increase food security while extending the growing season. Professor Fred Segar, the Principal Secretary in the State Department of Irrigation, tells us more about the state of irrigation in the county.
The State Department of Irrigation was formed through an executive order in 2016. The functions for this department is to ensure that we are able to do policy on national irrigation and management. In addition, we are also expected to map, to designate and develop areas ideal for irrigation. We are also expected to carry out water harvesting and storage for the purpose of irrigating agricultural activities. Similarly, we are also expected to reclaim land so that we use it for irrigation purposes. And lastly, the management of irrigation schemes in the country.
Kenya has an irrigation potential of 539,000 hectares that can be increased substantially with water storage and exploration of groundwater. Out of the total potential, 105,000 hectares, which is 19%, has been developed. Compared to other countries, the rate of irrigation development in Kenya has been very low at about 0.5% per acre. Fred reveals there is an urgent need to increase investment in irrigation development to ensure it is accelerated growth and sustainable development.
The current irrigated area in Kenya is about 500,000 acres. The objective of the government is to see how we can increase this from 500,000 to 1.2 million acres, so that we are able to take care of improved agricultural activities, manage climate change, so that we improve the issue of food security in the country.
It is against this background that the Office of the State Department of Irrigation embarked on a project to encourage farmers to embrace irrigation by harvesting rainwater for future use during the dry season.
We have in Mountain Kenya what we refer to as the smallholder irrigation program in Mountain Kenya region, which is being implemented under Kenya German Financial Corporation. This program was started way back in the year 2005 after signing a bilateral cooperation between the government of Kenya and the government of Germany through KfW. This is a development bank of Germany. The coverage of this program is in 4 counties, namely Embu, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, and Kirinyaga. The program focuses on smallholder irrigation development through one, identification through a competitive selection of potential irrigation groups. In other words, the program targets the issue of potential farmers who are carrying out irrigation in those particular counties I've mentioned. In addition, it is also expected that we capacity build those farmers carrying out irrigation projects, and this is basically through the issue of farmers coming as a cooperative society, so that we are able to identify projects which can be funded through credit facilities. And the goal of this is to ensure that we construct irrigation schemes and similarly offer extension service to the qualified cooperatives. So it is tackling cooperative societies.
Under the smallholder irrigation, Fred explains that farmers are usually offered extension services on care and maintenance of the irrigation materials. Farmers are also trained on the best irrigation methods as well as how to harvest water for future use.
What this program does is first to identify a cooperative society which has a proposal, a fundable irrigation scheme. So when a cooperative society has a fundable irrigation scheme, then we give out a call of papers. We ask the cooperative societies, the farmers in those groups, to bid for the funds. Now, when they bid for the funds, they are able to tell us who they are, what kind of irrigation scheme they want us to fund, how organized are they. So we form a selection criteria so that we look at how strong the cooperative society is. Are the farmers enabled? Have they been capacity built to know what kind of projects they want to do? What are the outcomes of the projects? So we give out a call of papers so that farmer and the cooperatives send proposals to the department. When the proposals have been brought to the department, we analyze the proposals and then we see which ones are fundable. This is done in conjunction of the State Department of Irrigation and also the employing a consultancy services. So the specific objectives assigned to the consultant services is one, to provide adequate legal registration of cooperative societies. So the consultant will look at the cooperatives. Are they adequate? Have they been formed in the correct way? The consultant is also expected to offer adequate training to those the cooperative societies so that they look at have they been adequately knowledge and trained in carrying out those specific activities. The consultant is also expected to assist the Irrigation Water Users Association in the participatory design of the irrigation schemes. So there is a design which the farmers have designed. So the consultant which we form through the collaboration between our State Department and the funding agency KFW, they look at the design of the schemes, review the design, and then approve whether it is fundable or not. So it is a procedure. It is a selection method which is not biased to any group. What is important is this project fundable? Is this project able to give us the outcomes we want? If we want to irrigate 200 acres of land, is this proposal able to enable us to irrigate the 200 acres of land? So that is what we look at. So there is a selection panel which looks at the proposals. Many times we get over 100 proposals. And then out of the 100, we fund up to currently the phase 1 to phase 3, you find that we've funded only 90 projects. So for the last, the phase 1 to phase 3, we funded 19 projects out of over 100.
When the PS toured the farms already under irrigation in the Mount Kenya region, farmers attested to having increased their agricultural produce since the irrigation project was initiated in 2015.
You know, sasa itakuwa ngumu if you don't have that water. Yeah. Because to maintain throughout, you need some more water. And that's why we are happy when we hand back to our giving us a drip irrigation. Tumeona hii project yetu ina succeed sasa. Na hii tulitoka naye tulienda kutembea huko huko upande wa Mitungu.
Mitungu, yes.
Then when we came here, we formed just a resolution, every member na plant kama 50-50-50.
Ndio nilikuwa nasema kwa capacity building ni kutembeleana.
Ni kutembeleana ndio.
Unaona mwenzako anafanya ako mbele kuliko kwako kuliko. So kama ako mbele kitu gani inafanya yeye aende mbele. So if we had now good water throughout, ingemature faster, sivyo?
These ones we planted in April last year.
April last year.
Yes.
How are you irrigating?
Here we are using water funds. You can see I have a dam here. The Kiruki water, we put it in that one.
Unaweka hapo.
Unaweka.
Na unatoa hiyo kwa pipe.
Na machine. So unaona kama sasa last week.
Unakuja kuweka tu. Throughout.
All the total of these systems are 850. And whenever I plant here like 850, I normally get 4,000 from this part. Also I have got some and kept some the other side, and animals folders. I've got the other side, and we are going to see to it.
So mpaka chakula ya ng'ombe.
Chakula ya ng'ombe.
Yes. Habari yako? Kazi mzuri? Yaani unajua kiangazi ukienda sehemu zingine hutaona mboga kama hii. Ukiona sehemu zingine huwezi ona kama hii. So hii ni
mention your name.
Mimi naitwa Millicent Mudhoni Wanjeru Kadharas. Na hapa ni kwetu.
Kazi nzuri. Fanya kazi, endelea kufanya kazi kwa bidii. Maana hii size ni kubwa kabisa. Very good. Asante.
Na hiyo manuna mwagia maji ama unaipanda namna gani? Mbona ni kubwa?
Si unaona nini?
Maji ya irrigation.
Ndio ya sprinkler. Ndio imefanya ikawa kubwa hivyo.
Si ndio?
No.
Without water, you like now, what do? You cultivate this whole area, then you dig, you plant maize and beans. If the rain is good, you harvest. If it's not good like now, you stay put. Now, when you drive around, All those farms you see that are not under irrigation, even if you look through here and you see where I'm planting grass. I'm planting grass because, not because grass is very lucrative, it's because there is a lot of land. Instead of letting it dry like that, you plant grass. Without water, you cannot get anywhere near this.
Okay.
PS Segar concludes by urging farmers to embrace environment preservation methods such as building trees and harvesting rainwater for future use during the dry season.
We will have to store more water, and I also want to encourage the farmers also to plant trees. We have to conserve the environment. We have to build, we have to grow more trees so that we make the environment friendly, so that it attracts the issue of having rains continuously in the year. And that is why the government is serious in increasing the tree cover from 7%, forest cover from 7% to 10%. It is one way of ensuring also we protect the environment, because the water towers is getting depleted in the country. And unless we restore the water towers, the water we are talking about may not be available. And as a government, we are using concerted efforts. Each of the ministries does its part. And as a State Department of Irrigation, we will continuously invest in construction of reservoirs, construction of dams, so that we expand land under irrigation. And that is our target, and that is our role as a department, so that we participate in increasing food production in the country by increasing production, both production and productivity.
It is through irrigation, as Segar reveals, that farmers will be able to triple their farm produce during harvesting.
So that for every acre of land, we like the farmers who are growing bananas here, we want a situation where every acre of land, if you are planting this year and you are able to get this number of tons of bananas, we want the next year, if you are getting this year X, we want the next year to say X plus 10% by increasing the production and productivity of the land, so that we practice good agronomy. Now, like the chairman here, all the leaves, he doesn't take away the leaves because it is part of improving
the stumps.
Yeah, the stumps of improving the soil fertility. Yeah, so this is how you can get natural way of getting compost manure, so that you improve the fertility of the soil. This is what we want to encourage, so that apart from buying the inorganic fertilizer, we also improve the fertility in a natural way.
Uasin Gishu is one of the counties that is closely adhering to the directives issued by the State Department of Irrigation of Kenya. Julius Rotich is the Chief Officer in charge of crops in Uasin Gishu County.
Change is a real issue, which is actually affecting us so much. Most of the farmers this year had to replant twice or 3 times their maize because of the failing of the rains, which is a serious issue that needs a lot of discussions of the same and the interventions of the government and the stakeholders in the industry to make sure that we try and curb climate change.
Apart from agroforestry, Julius reveals that the county is also encouraging farmers to embrace irrigation.
We have set up serious irrigation projects, and we are supporting the youth to actually go into irrigation. We have supplied drip kits to the youth to support them, and because the government actually has came with a very serious agenda on supporting the youth through a program called Kijana na Eka. So we are supporting the youth across the county on Kijana na Eka, under the Kijana na Eka project. We have set up funds on the same, which are being distributed. It was actually done 2 years ago, and we are repeating it this year. under Kijana na Eka, we have so far supplied more than 20 drip kits to the youth through the youth groups to support them on irrigation. So they harvest the water, rainwater. We also support them on that, store the water and distribute the water to the farms to produce, even during the dry season, to produce vegetables and high-value crops.
When it comes to tree planting, the Chief Officer in charge of crops, Julius Rotich, explains that all farmers in the county have been issued with a directive from the county government to plant trees on at least 10% of their land acreage.
The programs that we have for climate change is planting of trees. That is one of the issues. And this year we've distributed more than 200,000 seedlings as a government to the wananchi to try and make sure that they plant trees. That is one of the major issues that we're doing as a government. We also advocating for farmers to plant, although we've not set up the legislations, but we're going to make sure that we adhere to the legislations of 10% of your land should have 10% of tree cover. That one, before we've not taken it up seriously, but now, going forward, because of the problems we are going through, we are going to make sure that the farmers actually plant trees 10% in their farm. If you have 1 acre, a tenth of that should be under trees. And that is what, going forward, we are going to advocate, and we are going to make sure that those laws are adhered to.
While cautioning farmers to protect the riparian areas in rivers and dams, Fred also cautioned farmers to plant environmental-friendly trees that do not use up all the water in the riparian areas.
We also take care of the riparian areas. The riparian areas, by definition, is ranging between 6 to 30 meters from the center of the river. And therefore, depending on the river, it is 6 meters to 30 meters. Let us ensure that we give room, or we allow natural vegetation to be observed around the riparian areas in rivers, so that we protect the environment, we protect the rivers, because that is where our source of water is coming from, and also the water towers in the country. And I'm happy, as much as water towers is under another ministry, as a government, we work very closely together, because all of us work under the water sector. And the water sector, we have things to share with the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, Ministry of Environment and Forest. We also work very closely with the other agencies whose work is to regulate the water sector. This is the purview of another ministry, but I must say that really there are some types of trees which are known not to conserve water but to deplete the water sources, and therefore any tree species which depletes water, of course, is not recommended, because we want to increase the volume of water. And therefore, there are those indigenous trees. That is the direction, actually. The indigenous trees have been known to be very friendly to environment, and therefore, we want to encourage, we work closely with our sister departments so that they are able to guide Kenyans on what kind of trees to plant. But I must say that there are some trees which are known to deplete water, and therefore we should run away from such trees.
Earlier this year, the Water and Sanitation Company Limited, based in Uasin Gishu County, warned farmers of water shortage after rivers supplying water to households dried up. The reason for the shortage, according to the water company, was the county's forest cover is insufficient for sustaining the rising water requirements in the region. Earlier this year in April, Eldoret town experienced a water shortfall of 40,000 cubic meters daily. In the neighboring Elgeyo-Marakwet County, over 70,000 people rely on the 1.7 billion shilling Saba water project. River Saba has dried up and its source is also Kaptagat Forest.
We require water, and therefore protection of our catchment areas is very, very important. Our catchment areas are very important because that is where we get the source of the water. And therefore, I'm calling upon Kenyans to support the initiative the government has put forth through the Ministry of Environment and Forest in planting more trees, so that the tree cover increases from 7 to 10%. That is the target the government has put so that we are able to not only grow the trees, but also we protect the environment. When we protect the environment, we are assured of continued source of water so that we use it for irrigation purposes. Number two on the same is that we should also ensure that we protect our riparian areas.
We are now encouraging that farmers should be able to have wood lots on their farm, 10%, so that we can be able to enhance the environment, and that will also be able to have impact in terms of creating a microclimate.
Apart from planting trees, Uasin Gishu County is in the process of rehabilitating its water catchment areas such as Cape Karen Dam in Eldoret Town. The Cape Karen River Basin is part of Lake Victoria North Catchment Area, which is part of the Lake Victoria Basin in Kenya. The catchment has an area of about 3,234.4 kilometers squared. The main township in the area is Eldoret Town, though its main catchment area is located in Nandi district. The catchment covers 3 administrative locations, namely Kipkaren, Ndalat and Genyilel locations. Analyses have shown that the catchment has only 2 main rainy seasons, the short rain season in August and October, and the long seasons from March to May.
Other programs across the county is the rehabilitation of the dam. At the current dam, that dam is being rehabilitated to distribute the water to villages around that area, to make sure that every homestead has water that they can store and use for irrigation. And actually the target for that is actually irrigation, and also supply to Eldoret Town. That water is also coming to part of the town to try and decongest water use, because there is a lot of pressure now on the current water that is being available for the county.
The initiatives that were put in place to assist our farmers to mitigate on climate change. One of it is adoption of micro irrigation projects. Besides that, we also want to do for them micro dams for water harvesting, roof harvesting, so that they can also be able to have sufficient water to assist them during the lean seasons to continue watering the crop. And that will also give us the opportunity to have a continuous production from our farms.
The rehabilitation works of Cape Karen Dam is expected to take 3 months. The restoration of the dam is expected to increase capacity and supply to the urban center and the adjoining prairie urban centers upon its completion. The scope of the rehabilitation exercise includes refurbishment of the intake chamber located on River Nzoia, laying of the new water gravity main of 150 millimeter diameter GI pipe of approximately 30 meter long with associated fittings and masonry chamber. The works will also involve laying of new 150 millimeter diameter ferrous pipe for raw water delivery, approximately 25 meters long, completion of an elevated press-treated water steel tank of approximately 145 cubic meters. Plans are also in the offing to construct the first conventional sewerage treatment system, since the residents in the area currently rely on pit latrines for sewerage treatment.
For us to ensure that we are with the rest of the global people practicing irrigation in the continent. Currently in Kenya, we are doing only 2% of irrigated land. Potential irrigated land in Kenya is about over 3 million, but now we are only in about 500,000. So we are very far. The percentage of land is about 2%. In the sub-Saharan countries in Africa, you find irrigated land is about 6%. So we are doing a third of what is expected of us as a country. And therefore, we are looking at irrigation as a way of increasing food security. We are looking at irrigation as a way of creating wealth. It's also a way of creating employment and poverty reduction. And this is possible if we are able to accelerate the development and improvement of irrigation subsector. Because for every acre of land under irrigation, you are able to create about 5 jobs. So if you see about 1 acre of land being irrigated successfully, rest assured that you are talking about 5 people who are employed. So you can picture a situation if you were to irrigate, for example, extra 100,000 acres, it means directly we get about 500,000 jobs. So really for every acre we employ about 5 people. So this is one way of improving the issue of reducing unemployment in the country. And therefore irrigation is being looked at in form of not only creating food security in the country, but we are also looking at creation of wealth, creation of also employment opportunities. And because of this, the plan for the government is to increase this acreage from 500,000 to 1.2 million within the next 4 years. And we are doing this in form of, one, by ensuring that we harvest and store water so that we are able to do irrigation throughout the year.
While encouraging farmers to embrace irrigation to get more yields, all the leaders conclude by urging farmers to practice agribusiness, as this is the only way they can be able to pay bills and plant more crops on their farms.
I'm happy the loans which were given some time back, the 50% of the funds which were given out, the farmers have repaid all their loan. So any income they get now, they is able to uplift their standard of living. And that is the purpose why we want to embrace irrigation, so that we are able to produce and ensure that farmers make money from their sweat. A very good example of this is Kiruki Kiende Farmers Cooperative Society, which is based in Embu County. You will find that when we began in 2013, the income for these farmers was only Kenya shillings 4.6 million in a year. But after we facilitated them, we gave them loans of which they are finished paying, you find that the income for this cooperative society is now Kenya shillings 149 million in 2018. So from income of 4.6, it has increased to an income of 149 million in a year. The second one I want to mention is Mitohone Phase 2 Irrigation Cooperative Society, which is based in Kirinyaga County. The income in 2013 for the farmers who are practicing banana growing was only 751,000 Kenya shillings in 2015. But in 2018, in 3 years, this income has grown from 751,000 to Kenya shillings 14 million in 2018. So the increase in terms of income is well over 3,000%. So it means the project is successful, and because of this success story, the government is now in the process of going or doing phase 4 of this project.
Let's do our farming as a business, so that if you put your 10,000, you should be in a position to return that money with a profit, so that you're not doing a loss every year. So that is the reason we are telling them to go for high value crops, go for crops that has a stable market, and go for crops that can give you high returns with a very small area. That is the main message.
Let us move together, let us work together and ensure that we change the story, that we want to ensure that the farmer has more money in the pocket, and also the farmer is food secure, because that is the only way we can be able to enhance our living standard as the county of Uasin Gishu.
That is all we had time for on today's show. Keep watching KTN Farmers TV for more educative features about climate-smart agriculture.
lakini anajua kusema. Na yeye anajua kuweka na kupanga.
In Kisumu County, farmers have discovered a sustainable and affordable solution to rising livestock feed costs. Over 50 farmers recently completed an intensive training on black soldier fly farming, an innovative approach to tackling high production costs and promoting eco-friendly agriculture. The black soldier fly, or BSF, is a small insect whose larvae are protein-rich and ideal for livestock feed. These larvae thrive on organic waste, turning it into nutrient-rich feed and produce frass, a natural organic fertilizer that restores soil health and boosts productivity.
We hope of contributing to meeting, if not 50%, to about 70% of the feed supply to the livestock. That is one aspect of it. We hope that with increased production of larvae to feeding livestock, including piggery and poultry and fish farming, we hope to contribute significantly in protein supply to the population. And this will also help to contribute in addressing the malnutrition gap.
Initially misunderstood, BSF is now being embraced by farmers like Phoebe Athiambo, who overcame their initial fears to recognize its benefits.
The black soldier flies were scaring me. In fact, I was afraid of the larvae. I couldn't even touch them. But nowadays, I have found it is beneficial. I could touch them. I'm giving my chicken the feeds. I'm so happy with the larvae because they are friendly. I can touch them. I can even give my chicken. The chicken are eating it. It's nutritive, I say, because you can see they are eating it at a high speed. But now I'm controlling. After the training, now I've known how to measure the scale, the ratios I'm supposed to give them. Because when I give excess, I hear that they'll be so fat that they couldn't even lay eggs again.
BSF farming is particularly appealing to youth and women due to its minimal space and budget requirements.
It takes me not to use maybe the very many things, maybe like to go and hire the land somewhere, but I can use the local land which my father owned at home. So it has inspired me, like it can help me maybe to have little funds so that I can continue with other activities.
So BSF can be done by everyone, and then it's cutting costs by 50 to 60%. So if your cost of production is cut by 50 to 60%, then you're in business. You're good to go.
The benefits of BSF extend beyond livestock. Frass enhances soil quality, improves water retention, and fosters resilient crops.
You know, in Africa, we've got a big issue with waste management. That's a very big issue we're having in Africa. But this small larvae called BSF is revolutionizing all these things and is bringing a change. And right now, I can tell you for a fact, we are having an issue of getting waste. Somehow we are trying to create the waste itself. So environmental wise, it's a key, it's something, it's a plus. You can say it's an A+ and doing very well. I said again on the green economy, doing very good because of the frass changing. We have overused our lands. We have farmed from I don't know how many years ago, but BSF is coming in with a solution.
And this is virtually what we aim at doing that. So with the use of the black soldier fly black byproduct, including the liquid, which will be used in biopesticides production, we are aiming at one, reducing pesticides contamination, which comes from a result of high pesticides use. We are also helping to reduce water pollution, which comes from the use of excessive and irregular use of fertilizer materials. We are also hoping of helping to improve the organic matter content of the soil, which fertilizer one way the other is not able to do significantly.
This transformative initiative is part of the CGAIR Nature Positive Solutions, aiming to make agriculture a positive contributor to nature. As more farmers in Kenya adopt BSF farming, the future of sustainable agriculture shines brighter. For KTN Farmers TV, I'm Paul Thiago. As the world grapples with the effects of climate change, crop farming in the country is one of the most affected sectors that has in turn induced food insecurity. To add salt to injury, the seed industry has been penetrated by unscrupulous people packaging and selling fake seeds, as well as inadequacy of certified seed for most crops, and where available, prices are exorbitant, keeping them out of reach to smallholder farmers. It is in this light that the research organization developed the Calro seed arm.
Even if we give out all the fertilizers and we apply all the good management practices, without the right seed, production will still be very low. So to contribute to the food and nutrition security in the country, we have taken the initiative to ensure that we open mkulima shops across the country so that our farmers can be able to access quality planting material. Mkulima shop is a new concept whereby Calro's technologies that have been developed, whether they are seeds or seedlings or any other product, are sold to farmers. As you are aware, the biggest challenge that our farmers are facing is access to good quality certified planting material.
Calro envisages to have 17 mkulima shops spread out in various parts of the country. These include Amri Katumani, HRI Kandara, ICRI Mtwapa, Calro Seeds Thika, HRC Kibos, Matuga, and Tigoni.
Last year, the drought has havoc because we are able to sell only about 1,000 metric tons. But this year we are targeting 2,500 metric tons, and going forward, because we have plans to expand our production systems, we have plans to irrigate so that we don't rely on rainfall. So we expect that in the next 2-3 years, we'll be hitting something close to maybe 4,000 metric tons.
Hapo miaka iliyopita, watu wengi wa mahindi walikuwa wanachukua mahindi ile ambao wametoa kwa ngara, ambao wanarudisha kwa shamba tena. Lakini wakati huu watu wa mahindi wanajua tukitaka mbegu tunaenda kwa soko, tunaenda pale kwa duka na tunanunua what is certified seed na tunapanda hiyo. That's why kwa mahindi tuko kama tuseme 90% certified seeds. Lakini kwa vitu zingine kama maharage tuko pale kama 5%.
Establishment of these shops will also provide farmers with opportunities for contractual seed production, leading to income, and also help promote the various varieties being grown.
This is an assurance that you are getting it from the people who actually build the technologies, who evolve the technologies, and you are there. This is not GMO, it is technology that is actually developed from our own country by our own researchers. So I want to encourage anybody who is actually passing through this road to Kandara, next to Thika Green, to actually drop by this shop and make sure that you procure.
It is something that has been researched on, done the adaptability trials, so we are able to advise a farmer, if you go and plant this in this area, it's able to grow, and this is the yield, and this is the market. So we have the technology, and also we are able to advise a farmer how to go about it, how to grow, and even how to market.
Farmers will be provided the opportunity to confirm the authenticity of the seeds they will be buying in these shops.
What I want to assure you is that the seed you buy from Calro is counterfeit proof, because there's a number which when you scratch, when you buy from Calro, if you scratch and send to that number, it will tell you that this is original seed certified by KFIS. If that number is not there, then you know that's counterfeit.
The Calro Seed Unit maintains all pre-released and released seed varieties in bred lines, as well as producing breeder, pre-basic and basic seeds. The foremost seed sector purchases breeder seeds, and the informous sector purchases basic seed for further multiplication. Seed companies using breeders or basic seed purchased from the Calro Seed Unit produce certified seed, stalks and seedlings. Reporting for KTN News, I'm Paul Thiongo.
Dial star 811 star 914 hash to get this as your skiza tune. KTN, ndio home.
Being in a good mood can make you feel like dancing. It also makes it easier to learn. And it helps you accomplish more, alone or in a team. We like being together with others, particularly with close friends. At its root, feeling good involves psychological well-being. Are there ways to achieve it? And what can you do to restore your inner balance when everything feels out of kilter? Mental health. This week's topic on In Good Shape. Young parents are always happy. So are babies. According to ads, at least. But anyone who's had a child has seen plenty of other moments. But even minor speed bumps, like getting lost on the way to the hotel, can cause the mood to tip. Social media stars always seem to be in especially good spirits. Influencers who are grumpy don't have a lot of success. But is that a good thing?
Should life be full of only good vibes, even in the midst of breakups, crises, or personal tragedy? Communities on Instagram, TikTok, and other social media insist on cheerfulness and positivity. But why?
You actually share only the best parts, so everyone thinks, she has such a good life, she's never sad.
You kind of don't want to look at posts about negative stuff or see sad examples. You just want to always see how the influencer is hanging out on the beach, slurping cocktails and living their best life.
But is that good for us? Psychotherapist Miriam Hoff says it can be dangerous.
Social media sets an example. Always higher, faster, more beautiful, better. That means there's a certain pressure. I'm only allowed to show my most positive side. And in this dazzling world, anything negative is no longer allowed. And that in turn leads to isolation at some point, or believing I'm somehow alone with my negative feelings. Because everyone else is always in such a great mood. And that's the harmful thing in the long run, because I then question myself and think I'm different than everyone else.
There's no question that people who can maintain an optimistic attitude are generally better off, but that becomes toxic when any negative feelings are instantly given short shrift. Experts then speak of toxic positivity.
Toxic sentences are, for example, pull yourself together, it's not so bad, it'll be okay, I've gone through this before. In other words, sentences that don't take the other person seriously in their suffering and leave them alone with it. Having even negative feelings makes sense, because they indicate that something is wrong and that we should take a look.
In the long run, repressing and blocking out negative feelings can lead to depression. Germany's first and only happyologist, Patrick Winke, has looked intensively at the topic of happiness and being happy. He also warns against trying to keep negative emotions at arm's length.
On social media, things are presented extremely positively and with lots of filters. Everything on these platforms is always going great. Everything's really nice, but it's mostly fake. I believe that a kind of naturalness is precisely what makes things likable. And when someone says, "This actually happened," we all learn most from what goes wrong. And I think social media experts will be well advised to also post their mistakes sometimes.
But toxic positivity on social media just doesn't allow for that, so many refuse to accept the good vibes trend at face value.
You can't lose sight of reality. Even if you're optimistic about everything, at the end of the day, you have to cope with some stuff. Then it doesn't matter whether you viewed everything positively. The truth catches up. Reality catches up. For that reason, I think a healthy mix of both ways is important.
You have to have bad stuff sometimes, because only then can you really look forward to something good. If your mood isn't so good, then it's okay that it's not good. You don't have to force yourself or force others to always only be positive or in a good mood.
But how to find a middle ground between optimism and pessimism, between positive and negative feelings, by accepting setbacks, being able to change perspectives, and not losing hope.
I luckily once had a kind of happiness teacher named Alfred Bellebaum, and he said something beautiful. The greatest happiness is hidden in misfortune, and few people look for it there. So unhappiness and happiness are a balancing act, and that's just part of life. He had another beautiful saying, happiness is not a permanent state.
Exactly why it's important not to see everything in life through rose-colored, good vibes-only glasses. Sometimes being unhappy and feeling sad is just as much a part of a fulfilling life as happiness and optimism.
Do animals also feel emotions? More and more researchers are beginning to believe they do. In one species of raven, for example, birds have been observed apparently comforting other birds after they've been defeated in fights. And rats will come to the aid of other rats if they're in desperate straits, provided they know one another or are related. Elephants can also react strongly when elephants they are close to die. But emotions, and whether animals have them, is still the subject of behavioral research. With humans, the matter is clear. What's less so is what causes our emotions and what consequences they have. For instance, being in a bad mood.
There are plenty of reasons to be in a bad mood, but the triggers vary from person to person.
What puts me in a bad mood? Grouchy people, negative people. Bad weather, for example. Mostly other people.
Stress, daily life, school, studying, racism. That I can't change many things I'd like to.
When things don't go the way they should, then it spoils my mood.
Arvid Kapas is a psychologist who specializes in emotions.
Bad moods are more likely a side effect. In evolutionary terms, what's crucial are emotions, which usually correspond to certain aspects of mood. Something happens and you need to react, and your mood is, so to speak, a side effect of the machinery we need in order to have emotions. So grief is sometimes very important. So is being angry.
We must live with these negative emotions, and that can make us kind of prickly. But bad moods often serve as a warning signal, so finding out what's behind that crushing feeling can be a learning experience.
A bad mood can be a signal that something's not working well. That can lead you to take a look and see if there might be a reason for it, something you can change.
We can't release happiness hormones non-stop. But even if we could, would it be beneficial to be in a good mood all the time?
It's a fact that being in a positive mood has a function which no longer works if you're in a good mood all the time. For example, if you're striving for something specific, you want to eat something, or you want to have a nice social interaction, then the expectation that it'll be positive is something that spurs you on. If this positive mood never diminished, you just sit on the sofa, be happy, and do nothing.
So there really is something good about being in a bad mood, though it can take time to recognize that.
Sometimes you want to concentrate on something, and then a slightly negative mood can actually be beneficial. We can feel that. But we can also scientifically prove that it has such effects. The question is, how much and for how long? But feeling slightly melancholic or nostalgic, that's something we actually like and even seek out.
Because that makes us more focused, self-critical, and productive. So even bad moods have their good side.
At first glance, it might seem like nothing more than a bad mood, but for an estimated 1 billion sufferers worldwide, it's a mental disorder, depression. And it's likely many more people are affected, though we don't really know for sure. The best statistics we have indicate that there are an especially high number of cases in Africa, and also that more women than men suffer from it. Many don't receive any help. One big reason why is that in many places, depression is not viewed as a serious illness.
Is depression a real illness?
People who have not experienced depression or anything related to mental health, they think that the people are making it up for attention.
I think it's treatable with therapy and medication, but yeah, it's a real sickness.
But if you're having some sort of an anxiety or depression, it's really difficult to cope up with.
Even in antiquity, melancholy was already regarded as a sickness. At the beginning of the 20th century, German psychiatrist Emil Kraepelin was probably the first person to use the term depression. Today, experts agree.
Being sad is a normal reaction to difficult times. It's understandable, but usually sadness goes away with a little time. Depression is different.
Antonia Erasuris is a psychologist who spent 10 years researching depression and those most affected by it.
We're talking about a mood disorder that can cause severe symptoms that can affect how you feel, how you think, how you handle daily activities. And the medical community has certain diagnostic elements by which it establishes that it is a disorder.
For a diagnosis today, therapists consider how patients feel, if their eating or sleeping habits are out of whack, and how well they get through the day.
If it is a widespread belief that this is just all in the mind, it's not a real disease, then we are preventing people from receiving the treatment that they need.
Do only certain types Patricia Fonseca is a senior physician for psychiatry and psychotherapy. She treats people with depression and has extensively studied the subject. In recent years, the spotlight has focused on lifestyle and chronic stress.
Always being available, always online, pressure to perform at work.
always having to prove ourselves. Those things are relevant because they have an impact on our stress levels and our sleep habits. But it's not just a lifestyle sickness. There are also other factors, including life events like separations, relationship stress, breakups, or the loss of an important person. Looking back at our childhoods, were there traumatic experiences or emotional neglect?
Beyond that, studies show that genes also play a role, but that doesn't mean there's a depression gene. Factors that can bring on depression include chronic stress, traumatic life experiences, and genetics. Are antidepressants bad for you?
I think antidepressants can be addictive, but I'm not sure about it. It's just a myth that everybody knows.
I will be honest, I have anxiety. I take medications for anxiety and I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty good.
My understanding is that anything that is given not by someone that fully knows about what it contains, like a doctor or a professional healthcare, may harm yourself.
Many people are critical of the medications. Some people even claim that antidepressants only benefit the pharmaceutical industry.
It's such a double-edged sword. We've seen that antidepressants are really no more successful than placebos for mild depression. So we would try to treat mild depression through psychotherapy and behavioural change. But with moderate and severe depression, there was a clear effect compared to the placebo.
Also, antidepressants don't work the same for everyone, so it can take a while to find the right ones. But can people help themselves?
A healthy lifestyle is a good way of preventing and accompanying your treatment and preventing relapse. And there is evidence for that. And I would add that more than just work less, eat healthier, physical activity is really important.
The bottom line is antidepressants aren't bad per se, and a healthy lifestyle can increase their effectiveness.
As any other sickness, it's not about anything that's your own fault. It's just something that some people have, and it's treatable.
If there's someone out there who's suffering from depression, please don't be silent about it. Go out, talk to your friends, take help, take medication. I promise you it will get better.
At home, when something isn't working as it should, you can try to fix it if you can. But some problems are just too complex. Then it's time to call a professional for help. It's the same with issues involving mental health. The problem is, in many parts of the world, mental health professionals are few and far between. But if you're lucky enough to have a choice of who to see, there are a few things to bear in mind.
Therapists are people just like you and can therefore hold quite different views. Some are very convinced by their particular therapeutic approaches. If a client wants to deviate from that, a therapy can end unpleasantly. It's important for a therapist to be able to adjust to an individual situation and to carefully check whether a particular approach is the right fit. Having a clear roadmap is essential. That helps keep the therapy from drifting along endlessly. How should the course proceed? Why is what planned? Are there milestones? What are they? The plan should be discussed with the client. Depending on the country, therapies might be offered by mental health professionals with a range of titles, among them counselor, psychologist, or psychotherapist. But in many places, the field isn't strictly regulated, and at times there's no prescribed or uniform training. Critics complain about this shortcoming. So when looking for a therapist, the amount and direction of training one has received can be a central issue, as is the question of whether they're allowed to prescribe pharmaceuticals. Approaches differ, but the goal of therapy should always be to help clients achieve good mental health. There are many forms of therapy. Some seek to draw out childhood memories or focus on dreams and the subconscious. Practitioners see those approaches as important ways to work through deeply seated issues or traumatic experiences. These therapies are sometimes, for instance, helpful in cases of depression. They involve a lot of talking, especially on the part of the client. Then there's behavior therapy. The goal here is to unlearn learned behavior. This can help people, for example, who experience anxiety or eating disorders. Clients learn to confront their problems in concrete ways, for example, through role-playing. Whatever type of therapy is chosen, it should be scientifically recognized and should, of course, also help. Gut feeling plays a central role. How does the client feel during and especially after a session? Does the therapist seem tired? Are they really involved? Because all successful therapies have one thing in common. To work, the patient first has to feel understood.
In the drive to maintain mental balance, there's also a lot you can do on your own, like pursuing a healthy lifestyle, enjoying pleasant company, and exercising regularly. Relaxation is also important. There are lots of activities out there that are supposed to help you relax. But do they really?
They promise relaxation at the touch of a button.
This one is really going for it. It's kind of this feeling of pain and...
Anna is experimenting with gadgets that are supposed to relax your muscles. Meanwhile, others are looking to relax in, let's say, more holistic ways. Antonia, Bernd, and Sabina all have high-stress jobs, and nature could help them find ways to wind down. Studies show that it can. In one research project that monitored stress via pulse and location, the scientists concluded that the greatest physical and psychological recovery takes place in natural settings. Study leader Eike von Lindern says to have the effect, nature should challenge your senses.
If we perceive a landscape as not challenging enough, then it also quickly grows boring. It just doesn't provoke any awe.
Anna is getting ready to have what promises to be a memorable experience on an acupressure mat.
This acupressure mat has over 6,000 pointed little plastic pins attached. And I'm supposed to lie directly on it with my bare skin. And then these sharp little guys will drill into my back. It's supposed to help against back pain, headaches, and also relieve stress. We'll see.
What does an expert have to say?
Stimulation via these small prongs causes an increase in circulation. And the higher blood flow means there's a good supply to the muscles, which helps them simply relax a bit. There's a large zone associated with headaches between your shoulder blades, and stimulating the circulation and relaxing the muscles often has a favorable effect on headaches. It can reduce them.
Let's see how Anna reacts.
Not as bad as I thought. It's okay, actually.
20 minutes later, and she feels very relaxed. In the woods, well-being has also set in after about 20 minutes.
It's really pleasant here. Yeah, we just agreed that somehow we like it here a lot. And Bernd was just asking why that is. And I think we've unanimously decided that it's kind of finally some forest, it's more calm, the green, nature. That's what we like.
We are far from the stress, from the places where we otherwise experience stress.
The natural sounds, smells, and colors of the forest are a kind of balm for the soul. We breathe more deeply, grow calmer and more attentive, and rediscover slowness, what psychologists call being mindful. Forest surroundings can help that process.
By mindfulness, we usually mean a judgment-free experience in the here and now, That is, that I perceive myself as I am right now, with all my thoughts, both positive and negative, without valuing them. In a manner of speaking, I take a step back and simply observe myself in the situation and say, this is how I am, this is how I feel right now, this is what is bothering me right now. That helps me sort out my worries and thoughts and gain some clarity. And then I also feel like I'm completely in the here and now. Paying attention to things in nature is positive. It's also something you do with all your senses somehow.
I do it often, also at home. I actually do it for relaxation. You have to find the time and also prepare for it. If I'd force myself by saying, tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'll head into the forest and sit there, I don't think that's so effective.
But if you have stressful days, you probably have to schedule that time. Want something that works at the push of a button? Maybe try a massage gun with different attachments.
I tried this one. It looks the least dangerous.
You can adjust the intensity, important for different body regions. Although
I can't reach my bag with my short little arms, but it feels good. It feels pretty good. Pain and relaxation all at once.
Maybe a more classic massage. This electric massage cushion employs sets of rotating spheres.
What I think is really cool is, I have it up here now, but I can also pull the pillow farther down. Then it reaches places I wouldn't be able to get to with the massage gun.
But can it relieve stress and back pain?
If you make yourself a cup of tea and sit down with a good book while using it, it's relaxing. But it doesn't have a long-term effect. It's just about the moment you're taking out of everyday life.
And that's what it's about after all, briefly immersing yourself in another world, whether the woods or on an acupressure mat. A brief journey into the forest or your own body, a time out that every once in a while, everyone should try to take.
You can also relax actively with sports. Time for another great exercise with Aurelia.
Hi and welcome. Today you only need a mat. Let's get started. Lie down, spread your arms, lift and bend your legs, bring them down and look to the opposite side. Count to 10 and then we switch the side. I have a recommendation for you. Do this exercise in your bed directly after you wake up, and you will have a perfect...
In Kisumu County, farmers have discovered a sustainable and affordable solution to rising livestock feed costs. Over 50 farmers recently completed an intensive training on black soldier fly farming, an innovative approach to tackling high production costs and promoting eco-friendly agriculture. The black soldier fly, or BSF, is a small insect whose larvae are protein-rich and ideal for livestock feed. These larvae thrive on organic waste, turning it into nutrient-rich feed and produce frass, a natural organic fertilizer that restores soil health and boosts productivity.
Hope of contributing to meeting, if not 50%, to about 70% of their feed supply to the livestock. That is one aspect of it. We hope that with increased production of larvae to feeding livestock, including piggery and poultry and fish farming, we hope to contribute significantly in protein supply to the population. And this will also help to contribute in addressing the malnutrition gap.
Initially misunderstood, BSF is now being embraced by farmers like Phoebe Athiambo, who overcame their initial fears to recognize its benefits.
The black soldier flies were scaring me. In fact, I was afraid of the larvae. I couldn't even touch them. But nowadays, I have found it is beneficial. I could touch them. I'm giving my chicken the feeds. I'm so happy with the larvae because they are friendly. I can touch them. I can even give my chicken. The chicken are eating it. It's nutritive, I say, because you can see they are eating it at a high speed. But now I'm controlling. After the training, now I've known how to measure the scale, the ratios I'm supposed to give them. Because when I give excess, I hear that they'll be so fat that they couldn't even lay eggs again.
BSF farming is particularly appealing to youth and women due to its minimal space and budget requirements.
It takes me not to use maybe the very many things, maybe like to go and hire the land somewhere, but I can use the local land which my father owned at home. So it has inspired me, like it can help me maybe to have little funds so that I can continue with other activities.
So BSF can be done by everyone, and then it's cutting costs by 50 to 60%. So if your cost of production is cut by 50 to 60%, then you're in business. You're good to go.
The benefits of BSF extend beyond livestock. FRAS enhances soil quality, improves water retention, and fosters resilient crops.
You know, in Africa, we've got a big issue with waste management. That's a very big issue we're having in Africa. But this small larvae called BSF is revolutionizing all these things and is bringing a change. And right now, I can tell you for a fact, we are having an issue of getting waste. Somehow we are trying to create the waste itself. So environmental wise, it's a key, it's something, it's a plus. You can say it's an A+ and doing very well. I said again on the green economy, doing very good because of the FRAS changing. We have overused our lands. We have farmed from I don't know how many years ago, but BSF is coming in with a solution.
And this is virtually what we aim at doing that. So with the use of the black soldier black byproduct, including the liquid, which will be used in biopesticides production, we are aiming at one, reducing pesticides contamination, which comes from a result of high pesticides use. We are also helping to reduce water pollution, which comes from the use of excessive and irregular use of fertilizer materials. We are also hoping of helping to improve the organic matter content of the soil, which fertilizer, one way the other, is not able to do significantly.
This transformative initiative is part of the CGAIR Nature Positive Solutions, aiming to make agriculture a positive contributor to nature. As more farmers in Kenya adopt BSF farming, the future of sustainable agriculture shines brighter. For KTN Farmers TV, I'm Paul Thiong. As the world grapples with the effects of climate change, crop farming in the country is one of the most affected sectors that has in turn induced food insecurity. To add salt to injury, the seed industry has been penetrated by unscrupulous people packaging and selling fake seeds, as well as inadequacy of certified seed for most crops, and where available, prices are exorbitant, keeping them out of reach to smallholder farmers. It is in this light that the research organization developed the Calro seed arm.
Even if we give out all the fertilizers and you apply all the good management practices, without the right seed, production will still be very low. So to contribute to the food and nutrition security in the country, we have taken the initiative to ensure that we open mkulima shops across the country so that our farmers can be able to access quality planting material. Mkulima shop is a new concept whereby KALRO's technologies that have been developed, whether they are seeds or seedlings or any other product, are sold to farmers. As you are aware, the biggest challenge that our farmers are facing is access to good quality certified planting material.
KALRO envisages to have 17 mkulima shops spread out in various parts of the country. These include AMRI Katumani, HRI Kandara, ICRI Mtwapa, KALRO Seeds Thika, HRC Kibos, Matuga, and Tigoni.
Last year, the drought has havoc because we are able to sell only about 1,000 metric tons. But this year we are targeting 2,500 metric tons, and going forward, because we have plans to expand our production systems, we have plans to irrigate so that we don't rely on rainfall. So we expect that in the next 2-3 years, we'll be hitting something close to maybe 4,000 metric tons.
Hapo miaka iliyopita watu wengi wa mahindi walikuwa wanachukua mahindi ile ambao wametoa kwa ngara, ambao wanarudisha kwa shamba tena. Lakini wakati huu watu wa mahindi wanajua tukitaka mbegu tunaenda kwa soko, tunaenda pale kwa duka na tunanunua what is certified seed na tunapanda hiyo. That's why kwa mahindi tuko kama tuseme 90% certified seeds. Lakini kwa vitu zingine kama maharage tuko pale kama 5%.
Establishment of these shops will also provide farmers with opportunities for contractual seed production, leading to income, and also help promote the various varieties being grown.
This is an assurance that you are getting it from the people who actually build the technologies, who evolve the technologies, and you are there. This is not GMO, it is technology that is actually developed from our own country by our own researchers. So I want to encourage anybody who is actually passing through this road to Kandara, next to Thika Green, to actually drop by this shop and make sure that you procure.
It is something that has been researched on, done the adaptability trials, so we are able to advise a farmer, if you go and plant this in this area, it's able to grow, and this is the yield, and this is the market. So we have the technology, and also we are able to advise a farmer how to go about it, how to grow, and even how to market.
Farmers will be provided the opportunity to confirm the authenticity of the seeds they will be buying in these shops.
What I want to assure you is that the seed you buy from KALRO is counterfeit proof, because there's a number which when you scratch, when you buy from KALRO, if you scratch and send to that number, it will tell you that this is original seed certified by KEFIS. If that number is not there, then you know that's counterfeit.
The KALRO seed unit maintains all pre-released and released seed varieties, inbred lines, as well as producing breeder, pre-basic and basic seeds. The foremost seed sector purchases breeder seeds, and the informal sector purchases basic seed for further multiplication. Seed companies using breeders or basic seed purchased from the KALRO seed unit produce certified seed, stalks and seedlings. Reporting for KTN News, I'm Paul Thiongo.
Dial *811*914# to get this as your skiza tune. KTN, ndio home.
Irish potatoes are the second most consumed staple food in Kenya. They are generally grown in the high altitude areas in 15 counties on rain-fed land, where they compete favorably with maize production. 800,000 people in Kenya directly benefit from own potato farming production, while potatoes provide a source of income for over 2.5 million people employed in the value chain. 90% of potatoes are grown on small holdings on less than 0.5 acres of land. Potatoes are therefore an important food crop for food security, as well as an important cash crop that contributes to the country's gross domestic profit. Kenya's demand for potatoes is increasing annually. While there's a general increase in the land area that potatoes are cultivated on, total national production has remained steady or declined over recent years, with much lower yields per hectare being achieved now than in 2004 and 2007. This is according to the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO. The government aims to increase potato production from 1.6 million tons to 2.2 million tons by 2022 in its efforts of ensuring food security. This will be a hard nut to crack, owing that most farmers in the country lack clean certified potato seed. Before we delve in deeper, let's first describe the Irish potato. A fun fact is that Irish potatoes are not Irish at all. The shrubby perennials with edible tubers, grown as cool weather annuals in rows, raised beds or containers, are native to the South American Andes. Though introduced to the world by early European explorers only in the past 400 years, the starchy tubers quickly became one of the world's most important and nutritious foods, behind only corn, wheat and rice. All parts of the plants are toxic if eaten, except for the properly harvested and stored tubers. With that in mind, most farmers get their potato seeds from the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization (KALRO) and other research institutions. Getting the right seeds is key in potato farming, as diseases are the biggest headache for farmers and take a huge toll on yields. KALRO frequently organizes open days to educate farmers on the best varieties to plant in the different potato growing regions in the country.
We have someone who is.
There are 13 major potato producing counties in Kenya. They include Nyandarua, Meru, Nyeri, Kiambu, Taita Taveta, Nakuru, Narok, Bomet, Elgeyo Marakwet, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Uasin Gishu and West Pokot.
The open days normally is to enable people to appreciate what KALRO is doing, how we develop our materials, how we even develop the seed propagation, how we multiply the seed, so that they can know and understand the high technical aspects of our generation of the different varieties, because normally people don't know and then they don't appreciate. They'll just see a variety out there with the farmers, but they don't even know where it came from. And sometimes we are working with seed companies. They think it is the seed company that is giving them the seed. And so KALRO does not get any credit for it. Yet most of the work and activities on research and development of those varieties, or even the breeds, is coming from KALRO. So this is just one way of making sure that farmers know. Like now when you walk around, you are seeing variety development, different varieties, and even dealing with some of the national problems. Like now the potato cyst nematode, you are able to appreciate, because it is a serious problem.
Farmers like seeing when you see something has been advertised, we rush there because we don't know what new has come. It's good to go there and then know what new variety or the new, how you're going to grow the other crop or whatever crop it is. It's a very good thing that all farmers, everybody has come here with his own wanting to know. Nobody has been called like you're being forced to go. It is you. You have the initiative in you and you want to grow. So whenever we hear there's an open ground, we usually like coming to see, and we learn more. It's a very good thing. And this should continue, maybe often.
Every farmer looks for tricks to better potato farming in Kenya. Most Kenyan farmers started with potato farms having been told of the huge profits in the market. The truth sometimes is hard to bear given the fact that despite potato having high yields, that is not always the case in every harvest.
During my planting, there's way of how we've been doing fertilizer has not been, it's not the correct way. So today I was taught how to do fertilizer well and the process of how to do it. So that is definitely what I'm going to try in my next planting. The biggest challenge, number one, brokers. Brokers at farm gate, they have very horrible prices that make farming not a viable venture. That is the biggest one. The second one is weather. Weather has been very unpredictable for the past 2 years. So you cannot rely on rain-fed weather anymore. So we need to change and see how we can do irrigation.
Kenyan potato farmers grow different seed varieties including Karibu, Tigoni and Sangi. Each variety does well under different climatic conditions and is ideal for various markets. An example is the exporting frozen chips prefer to grow the Tigoni variety because it is preferred by the export market and is easy to cook. Depending on the type of potatoes, they have different functions meant for them.
We are actually feeding into the Big Four agenda because we are trying to give the farmers the best varieties that can give them the best output in terms of yield, because yield is like the birthday child for the for the farmer. So farmers would want, even if you have a highly resistant variety, good chipping quality, high good table variety, if it is not high yielding, they will not pick it. So everything we are doing, it has to resonate well with the farmers, because farmers are our end users for the product.
The importance of planting the right and tested seeds is so as to avoid infestation of pests. Mid this year, the infestation of potatoes by the potato cyst nematode, a deadly pest that was discovered in the country 2 years ago, was said to have reached alarming levels. A survey done in 20 counties through the support from the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization (FAO) showed that potato cyst nematode infestation had reached 80% to 100% in some of the potato growing areas across the country. The study showed that the future of potato production was bleak unless the government took emergency measures to stem the rapid spread of the devastating pests.
KARO continuously develops new varieties depending on the changing needs of the market. You have mentioned some old varieties like Shangi and Tigoni, which farmers started expressing needs, opinions about them, and they now desire to have new varieties. So we have in the pipeline at different stages towards release of different candidates. We have 4 candidates in the national performance trials, which are mandatory tests performed by the national agency called KEFIS. So those ones are in the very advanced stages towards release. Similarly, we have others which are in advanced selection stages, which are today highlighted, and farmers and other stakeholders have had an opportunity to have a look at them because of the different attributes, the yield, the plant height, the size of the shape and the color. Eventually we will also get them to be tested for culinary aspects. And then the few that will be selected will then be put through the release pipeline. So we have 4 in the national performance trials and over 100 which are being selected and are in very advanced selection stages.
According to experts, potatoes should not be planted continuously. If a farmer plants the potato in one season, that piece of land should not be under potato cultivation the next season. This is to reduce the chances of the disease and improve soil fertility.
Investors are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. A prominent example being the Elb Tower in Hamburg. Here's the vision, and here's the reality.
What's the story?
Sorry.
Will work resume?
We can't say anything.
One of various projects run into the ground by Rene Benko's Signa Group. So you can understand the workforce at a famous German steelmaker being skeptical when another billionaire investor fancies buying a stake in their firm and their future. Also on this edition of Made, is a super tax the answer to financial inequality? Will India's new government boost its big player status? And which future are electric planes headed for?
There might be changes ahead here at Germany's biggest steelmaker. Czech billionaire Daniel Kretinsky is soon to buy an initial 20% stake in ThyssenKrupp's steel division, with plans to take over a further 30% later. A green light for the deal would give him influence over a key player in German industry. With ThyssenKrupp's steel division struggling to stay in the black in recent years, there's widespread skepticism among its workforce.
Not a serious partner, practically the worst possible option. I don't think it's good. I reckon he'll give it some thought, assess the situation, and at some point the company will be broken up and partly sold off.
Daniel Kretinsky's business empire is based in an upscale neighborhood in Prague. He doesn't do interviews or generally speak in public, except when talking on his own sports TV channel about football club Sparta Prague, another of his assets. Kretinsky's total wealth is estimated at 9 billion euros. According to company figures, his energy unit has an annual turnover of around 24 billion euros. The lawyer turned businessman made his first fortune from his stake in Livestream, a Slovakian pipeline operator that transported Russian gas to Austria, Italy, and Germany. Kretinsky also owns around a third of the Czech media sector, including the country's biggest tabloid paper, Blesk. And he's harnessed that power and exposure to promote his commercial interests. Eager for further expansion beyond his native Czech Republic, he purchased a number of climate-damaging lignite-fired power plants in Germany and elsewhere in the EU in 2016, a risky investment in old technology with no other buyers. But the Russian invasion of Ukraine prompted a steep rise in energy prices and billions in profits for Kretinsky. Czech NGO Reset has been following Kretinsky's operations and is critical of his expansion into fossil fuel plants in the face of climate change. Actions, they say, that will push back the development of renewable energies for decades.
They plan to build more than 6 new gigawatts of gas power plants in Italy, Germany, Great Britain, and also here in Czech Republic. And the second reason is that they are trying to prolong the operation of the coal power plant.
At the ThyssenKrupp Steelworks in Duisburg, the management has made a commitment to going green, meaning no more coal and turning to hydrogen as an energy source. But is Kretinsky the right choice on that front? Union representatives are opposed to the billionaire's prospective involvement, citing the lack of a viable business plan, and the Works Council is likewise critical of the move.
We're expecting to see an industrial concept of how he envisions a green future for steel.
The part sale to Kretinsky was only approved due to the vote of the Supervisory Board chairman counting twice. But it's still not clear whether Kretinsky will actually invest fresh money. Experts say he could simply deliver low-cost electricity to ThyssenKrupp Steel to the tune of 150 million euros a year.
Is the world we live in a fair one? A world where the richest 1% of the population own almost half of the world's wealth? Where the privileged live in luxury and celebrate their good fortunes, while millions of people around the world go starving, a situation that's prompted renewed calls for higher taxes on the ultra-rich in the name of justice and equality.
The precious few who have plenty, and the many who have precious little. The growing divide between rich and poor is a major issue in modern society.
We have a situation right now that the rich, the billionaires, have doubled their wealth in just the last decade. And we've seen a cost of living crisis that has eroded the salaries of ordinary citizens. So we're seeing the rich getting richer and everyone worse off. And we think that's highly unsustainable.
You have the super rich who profit massively from society, many of them fortunate to have inherited money, and they don't give anything back. That's the real injustice. I can understand people who feel that there are other people not paying enough taxes. But excessive taxation is not going to get companies to invest money or do research, to be innovative and create new jobs in the future.
This is how the distribution of wealth breaks down worldwide. In 2022, 45.8% of wealth was in the hands of the richest 1%. Just under half of the world owns 53% of wealth, with the remaining 1.2% left to more than half of the global population. It's a scale of inequality that sparked debate over the idea of a super tax, and it's not a new concept. 40 years ago, the wealthy often faced far higher taxation rates than is the case today.
We had extremely high taxes actually in country after country. The US is a good example. We often associate them with low taxes today, but before the 80s, they had very, very high marginal tax rates on the rich, reaching above 70%, and they had high growth also. But from the 80s onwards, we started seeing this war against progressive taxation.
Now there are growing calls for higher taxes for the super rich, with the debate also reaching the US Parliament.
Billionaires pay an average rate of 8% on their total income. 8%, that's the average they pay. Now, I'm a capitalist, but if you can make $1 billion, great. Just pay your fair share, pay a little bit. A firefighter and a teacher pay more than double the tax rate that a billionaire pays.
And some of those ultra-rich are eager to pay their fair share, from Bill Gates to Warren Buffett and others.
As wealthy individuals, we say we could pay more, hence the name Tax Me Now.
The Brazilian government has proposed the introduction of a global minimum tax for the world's billionaires.
The effort that G20 is trying to create now to tax the very, very rich. And that means that all G20 members need to get behind this.
The investments that are absolutely necessary in Germany will have lower dividends. A wealth tax will mean losing tax revenue somewhere else due to a wealth exodus.
To be effective, a global super-rich tax would need international cooperation, And crucially, just how high could that taxation rate be without causing economic damage?
What are the tax rates that we can go to before we start really hurting the economy? And their estimates is 60-70% or above.
A figure far above what the richest currently pay in most countries. As the fight against poverty continues, the debate over fair taxation is set to intensify.
The gulf between rich and poor doesn't get much starker than that in India, including financial inequality between the sexes. The recent elections mean Narendra Modi is set to stay in power, but in a power-sharing government. What will the coalition's biggest economic challenges be as it promises to create new jobs and reduce poverty?
India after the election. How can the new government encourage stronger economic growth? How can it drive forward education and industrialization? The country has risen to become the 5th largest economy in the world, and it will probably move up even further in the rankings.
I mean, all estimates, the IMF, for example, the World Bank, they all tend to think so. And I think that, you know, one thing that can't be overlooked is that investors globally are seeing India as the next big economic power.
In terms of gross domestic product, India is now among the big global players. With a GDP of over $27 trillion, the US is in top spot, followed by China, then Germany and Japan. India, at $3.5 trillion has now overtaken Britain. India's economy is currently growing by 7% per year, but relative to its huge population of over 1.4 billion people, per capita income is lower than in all the other G20 countries. So India has a lot of catching up to do to ensure more prosperity among the wider population and to fight poverty. One problem is the low employment rate in general, and especially among women. Just 60% of men are employed, and only 36% of women.
Female labor force participation rate has always been lower than international levels. And even though historically in other countries it has risen with economic growth, in the Indian case it has been going down in the past 2 decades.
India's new government therefore needs to invest more in the ailing school system, above all by providing students with a good education. Many of them leave school without any qualifications, and teachers are often insufficient. Even among young graduates, the unemployment rate is in double figures. The previous government was not able to solve these problems. But there's a lack of jobs in the manufacturing sector in particular. The country imports more goods than it exports. How could India's economy grow faster? Economists like to cite countries such as China and South Korea as examples.
So China, the investment rates were between 35 to 50% of GDP. I mean, that's incredible, right? Almost half of GDP was invested. In South Korea, it was between 35 and 45. So very high investment rates. And if you invest so much, yes, you will get higher growth for sure. You'll get better infrastructure, better facilities, better supply conditions, and better demand, okay? But the second is that they actually did manage a structural transformation.
In China, for example, it was possible to build up a broad industrial base when wages in the country were as low as they are currently in India. but that required extensive support programs for small and medium-sized enterprises.
To actually have a package for these micro, small, and medium enterprises, which provides them the same kind of benefits we are currently giving large corporates. That is credit on equal terms, access to inputs, access to knowledge, access to markets, all of the things that I think are routinely provided in other countries, but we have not been provided.
Nevertheless, India is making progress in many areas. In infrastructure, for example, countless highways, new railroads, and airports have been built. The last government spent $100 billion a year on infrastructure, and even more money will be needed in the future. India is also attracting more and more tech companies, investors such as Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, and SAP. One advantage, but also a challenge for the country, is population growth. With over 1.4 billion people, India's population is larger than China's and will grow to 1.7 billion by 2064. Only then will numbers start to decline again. With an average age of 28, India also has one of the youngest populations in the world, and enormous potential. Perhaps some analysts are right in predicting that the country will experience growth over the next few decades similar to that which began in China over 20 years ago. But above all, huge investments will be vital in order to create enough new jobs.
Did you know that the world's biggest buyer of aircraft last year was India? Aviation is responsible for around 3% of global emissions, a figure forecast to increase 8-fold by 2050. How about organic fuel alternatives made from algae? Or sustainably produced hydrogen? Flying Reporter investigates.
The pipistrelle is a small step, but it gives hope for the potential of the diversity of technologies that we're going to need.
Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed in today's bigger, bolder, and busier airports? Operators are eager to serve and profit from rising passenger numbers around the world. The Global Airline Association predicts a record 4.7 billion people taking to the skies in 2024, demand that requires more capacity and more construction.
Here's what major airports of the future could look like. India. Estimated cost over $825 million. Noida International Airport is said to be India's largest. It's being developed by Swiss company Flughafen Zurich AG and built by Tata Projects. Once finished, the airport will have capacity for 70 million passengers per year. The first phase of the airport should be completed this year. Singapore. Estimated cost around $10 billion. There will be a fifth terminal at Changi International Airport, which will boost the capacity by 50 million passengers. The T5 is expected to be a super low energy building, featuring solar panels, district cooling, and thermal energy storage to help lower carbon emissions. It will also support the use of alternative fuels like the sustainable aviation fuel. T5 will be ready to welcome travelers by mid-2030s. Vietnam. Estimated cost over $16 billion. Long Thanh International Airport is planned to be Vietnam's biggest international airport. In 2026, the first phase of the airport should be completed. When that happens, the airport can serve 25 million passengers per year. But once it's fully complete, it will quadruple its passenger capacity. Saudi Arabia. Estimated cost over $50 billion. The King Salman International Airport will be operational in 2030. It's expected to serve 120 million passengers, and then 20 years later, its passenger capacity will increase by more than 50%. This airport will generate 150,000 jobs. British architecture firm Foster & Partners are behind its design. UAE, new airport terminal for $35 billion. Dubai has started work on a new terminal to create the world's largest airport. With 400 gates, it will be able to process 260 million passengers annually. The first phase should be completed within the next 10 years. However, it will likely take decades to complete the entire project.
In Kisumu County, farmers have discovered a sustainable and affordable solution to rising livestock feed costs. Over 50 farmers recently completed an intensive training on black soldier fly farming, an innovative approach to tackling high production costs and promoting eco-friendly agriculture. The black soldier fly, or BSF, is a small insect whose larvae are protein-rich and ideal for livestock feed. These larvae thrive on organic waste, turning it into nutrient-rich feed and produce frass, a natural organic fertilizer that restores soil health and boosts productivity.
We hope of contributing to meeting, if not 50%, to about 70% of the feed supply to the livestock. That is one aspect of it. We hope that with increased production of larvae to feeding livestock, including piggery and poultry and fish farming, we hope to contribute significantly in protein supply to the population. And this will also help to contribute in addressing the malnutrition gap.
Initially misunderstood, BSF is now being embraced by farmers like Phoebe Athiambo, who overcame their initial fears to recognize its benefits.
The black soldier flies were scaring me. In fact, I was afraid of the larvae. I couldn't even touch them. But nowadays, I have found it is beneficial. I could touch them. I'm giving my chicken the feeds. I'm so happy with the larvae because they are friendly. I can touch them. I can even give my chicken. The chicken are eating it. It's nutritive, I say, because you can see they are eating it at a high speed. But now I'm controlling. After the training, now I've known how to measure the scale, the ratios I'm supposed to give them. Because when I give excess, I hear that they'll be so fat that they couldn't even lay eggs again.
BSF farming is particularly appealing to youth and women due to its minimal space and budget requirements.
It takes me not to use maybe the very many things, maybe like to go and hire the land somewhere, but I can use the local land which my father owned at home. So it has inspired me, like it can help me maybe to have little funds so that I can continue with other activities.
So BSF can be done by everyone, and then it's cutting costs by 50 to 60%. So if your cost of production is cut by 50 to 60%, then you're in business. You're good to go.
The benefits of BSF extend beyond livestock. Frass enhances soil quality, improves water retention, and fosters resilient crops.
You know, in Africa, we've got a big issue with waste management. That's a very big issue we're having in Africa. But this small larvae called BSF is revolutionizing all these things and is bringing a change. And right now, I can tell you for a fact, we are having an issue of getting waste. Somehow we are trying to create the waste itself. So environmental wise, it's a key, it's something, it's a plus. You can say it's an A+ and doing very well. I said again on the green economy, doing very good because of the frass changing. We have overused our lands. We have farmed from I don't know how many years ago, but BSF is coming in with a solution.
And this is virtually what we aim at doing that. So with the use of the black soldier fire, black byproduct, including the liquid, which will be used in biopesticides production, we are aiming at one, reducing pesticides contamination, which comes from a result of high pesticides use. We are also helping to reduce water pollution, which comes from the use of excessive and irregular use of fertilizer materials. We are also hoping of helping to improve the organic matter content of the soil, which fertilizer, one way the other, is not able to do significantly.
This transformative initiative is part of the CGAIR Nature Positive Solutions, aiming to make agriculture a positive contributor to nature. As more farmers in Kenya adopt BSF farming, the future of sustainable agriculture shines brighter. For KTN Farmers TV, I'm Paul Thiago. As the world grapples with the effects of climate change, crop farming in the country is one of the most affected sectors that has in turn induced food insecurity. To add salt to injury, the seed industry has been penetrated by unscrupulous people packaging and selling fake seeds, as well as inadequacy of certified seed for most crops, and where available, prices are exorbitant, keeping them out of reach to smallholder farmers. It is in this light that the research organization developed the Calro seed arm.
Even if we give out all the fertilizers and you apply all the good management practices, without the right seed, production will still be very low. So to contribute to the food and nutrition security in the country, we have taken the initiative to ensure that we open mkulima shops across the country so that our farmers can be able to access quality planting material. Mkulima shop is a new concept whereby Calro's technologies that have been developed, whether they are seeds or seedlings or any other product, are sold to farmers. As you are aware, the biggest challenge that our farmers are facing is access to good quality certified planting material.
Calro envisages to have 17 mkulima shops spread out in various parts of the country. These include Amri Katumani, HRI Kandara, ICRI Mtwapa, Calro Seeds Thika, HRC Kibos, Matuga, and Tigoni.
Last year, the drought has havoc because we are able to sell only about 1,000 metric tons. But this year we are targeting 2,500 metric tons, and going forward, because we have plans to expand our production systems, we have plans to irrigate so that we don't rely on rainfall. So we expect that in the next 2-3 years, we'll be hitting something close to maybe 4,000 metric tons.
Hapo miaka iliyopita, watu wengi wa mahindi walikuwa wanachukua mahindi ile ambao wametoa kwa ngara, ambao wanarudisha kwa